Coming up on today's Retro Robin Show, with me, Wayne, we're going to go back to 1986. Yes, the flux capacitor is fluxing as we go back to issue number 34 of the Crash magazine to re-review some of the games from out of that particular issue and see if they stand the test of time. Also, we'll have another round of Spectrum versus Commodore. So, let's get on with today's show. Run VT! And welcome to the Retro Robin Show with me, Wayne. Of course, today on the show we're going back to 1986 to issue number 34, November, when Crash was only £1. What did the cover look like? I'll show you now. Remember that bit of classic artwork? How good was that? And how thick was this magazine? Wow, you got money's worth for £1 there, didn't you? With lots of great. Still a good read today. I'll still read that now. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to re-review some more games, and then we're going to have another round of Spectrum versus Commodore. Yes, two different computers and the same game. Which game is the better of the two versions? So, at the moment, Commodore are 2-1 up, and Spectrum won the first round with, of course, Amarotti. Then Commodore won the next round with Guts. Well, this was much better to be fair. And then was a close call between who won the next round for 1942 classic shoot 'em up. But unfortunately, I had to give it Commodore because it brought in its trump card, the SID chip, and a little bit graphically better. So, we're going to move on with today's show and tell you what's the first game we're going to review. But before we do that, let me just tell you one or two other things. Computer of choice today is, of course, the Grey Plus 128K. And for those that don't know their Spectrums, it's that bad boy there. Oh, think about it. Tastes like dust. Okay, so what's the first game we're going to review today? Well, I'll tell you now. Oh, by the way, the sound you can hear in the background there is provided by the Omni 128 plugged in via a Bluetooth speaker using the auxiliary, so it's just going to add a bit of atmosphere. And besides, there's no copyright issues using AY sound as there would be if I was using tunes. But this show would be better with AY, wouldn't it? So, okay. First game of the day. As you can see, I've got all my files logged in. Now, we're not going to go for any of them. Go straight to that, and we'll start with the bottom one, which is Thingy and the Doom Dash, spelt D-O-O-D-A-H-S. What can I tell you about it? It was by producer Americana. It was a good price of the game at $2.99, and its author was Michael Smith. Okay. Now, Crash put a fair few different type of percentages in, but as always, I give it a marks out of 10, which simplifies the whole matter. So we'll play the game in a moment, but let's go through what Crash had actually made of the computer, with some unusual ones. Use of computer at 44%. I presume that's possibly the memory that they could have used up a bit more. Graphics 42%, playability 39%. Getting started, there was one that wasn't in last week's show. That means how easy it is to get into the game. 45%, addictive quality is 36%. That's self-explanatory. And value for money 43%. So 43% for the $2.99 game. Well, I think that's reasonable. I would have given it a higher value for money than that, but the overall rating was 39%. So let's have a look at the game. We'll load the loading screen straight away, and the good thing is you can use the Kempston, so I'm going to do that. First thing you know, you've got a little maze to run around and avoiding various objects, and you've got to click that penny. it's annoying to get through this passageway. You know, you really need to be able to control it, and it's a little bit sluggish and slow. Some of the sprites are great, some are not so great. Nice bit of graphics here, there and everywhere, but in general, do I like the game? Well, no, I've got to be honest, I found it a little bit slow. The character moves a little bit too slow across the screen. Working out what to do wasn't easy to start with. But yeah, maybe it's one that you might like, if you can realise what to do. Get into it. I think he follows you. Right. Yeah, he goes in the same direction as you do. So, let's give it a rating before we... I'll show you one more screen, hopefully. You have to be exact sometimes, don't you? Well, I'm going to give that, I'm afraid, I'm only going to give that a 5 out of 10, so I totally agree with Crash on that occasion. Move on to the next game. And I hope that's not too loud in the background. Which is this one, and what can I tell you about this one? Let me just pause the A-way sound, let the bleeper sound take over for a minute there. Once again, the producer was Americana. And it was $2.99. It doesn't state which who the author was. The use of computer was 57%, graphics 61%, playability 53%, getting started 57%, addictive quality is 57%, value for money 58%. Well, it's gone higher, so you know, but you know, overall rating 57%. Let's give it a go. We'll go for the joystick, shall we? Which I'm going to use Kempston. Obviously, you've just got to. Oh, and of course I failed straight away. That is the game. What you see there is you just got to avoid that ball a few times, lifting your rag. Not one for blood sports, but I didn't like the game, but I'm going to move on very quickly today. I want to get as many games as I can in just a short period of time. Give it another go for you. See if I can advise you this time. You have to just lift your, you know, at the right time. Yeah, I'll avoid him, and there you go. And this time he's going to get me. So, what do I reckon of that? I'm going to, sorry, Crash give it a 57% overall rating, which is a 6 out of 10. I didn't like it, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. That's only my opinion though, you may think better. But if you like the look of the game, give it a try by all means and come to your own decision. After all, this is what this show's about, to try and remind you of games that time may have forgot. We might even find a hidden gem. So, let's move on to the next game. So, let's have a look at the next game, shall we? Which is... oh, I don't know which one to say. We'll go for Storm, shall we? There's your loading screen. And it gives you that to start with. And I'll put some A-way sound on in a minute for you. You can have 1 or 2 players. Yeah. Do you want instructions? Yes. I like the way that the colour flicks through as you read through the instructions. I'm trying to do 2 things at once here. Gives you the keys, which is Z, C, Z, A and caps, and U, M. So, let's give it a go. Come on then, I want to play now. Okay, so it's a rotational device and you have to... there's your fire button. Press centre forwards. It's not like Gauntlet, to be fair. It's nice colourful graphics, but when you're behind these red things, you can't exactly see which direction you're facing. Sounds fairly basic. It's a decent sized sprite storm. It's a good little map, but it's not exactly Gauntlet, so you know. There you go. As I say, you got, you know, your maze is fairly big. It's not too hard to control, but when you get behind them, you can't see what you're doing. Storm. Let's give you the rating, shall we? Use of computer 45%, graphics 38%, playability 39%, getting started 45%, addictive qualities 48%, value for money 58%, overall 44%, effectively 5 out of 10, and that's exactly what I'm going to give it, 5 out of 10. So I wasn't that impressed with it with 5 out of 10 rating, but we're going to move on to the next game, and because the games are starting to get more interesting, let's zoom you in a little bit, which I forgot to do a little bit earlier, but then, you know, a bit of dodgy retro Robin's camera work is now a feature of this show. Where else can you get bad camera work like that from, except from me? Okay, right, next game. Oh, this one. I think it's K Temple, K-A-I, Kaki Temple. But we're going to give that a go in a minute. Let me give you some ratings. Use of computer 43%, graphics 42%, playability 39%, getting started 53%, addictive qualities 40%, and value for money 46%, overall rating 40%, and of course the producer was Firebird, and it was at £1.99, and the author was Ian Wright, not the footballer. No, well, I didn't think it was the footballer, that's for sure. Maybe he was a bedroom coder before he became a top line footballer, TV presenter, etc. So let's have a look at the game anyways. Enough of me waffling on. There's your loading screen, a little bit like or we can redefine the keys here. Redefine the keys. Okay, we'll do that. Always love games. Throw a dagger. Cool. I thought there was only going to be 5 keys that caught me here when there was 6. Let's have a look. Oh, you can jump between levels and like that, so it's kicking in. Oh no, he got me. He got me. It's okay-ish. Oh, it won't keep quick enough. You need to get 2 blows in order to get rid of them, and if you don't get 2 blows in quick, then you get it yourself. I got it first time, didn't, but you know. We'll try again. Quickly try again. Oh, it does turn upside down as well. I forgot about that. There you go. Look, I'm okay. Can I get to the exit then? Do I get to go out? It's confusing when it's upside down. And obviously the more levels you get through, the more there becomes, so you've just got to basically... You can only kick once. If you miss, then you get at it. So what do I think of that? Well, its overall rating was 40%, but yeah, it's not the greatest graphically, but I'm going to give that a, you know, because I kind of enjoy it a little bit, and I'm going to give that 5.5 out of 10. Let's be fair, 5.5 out of 10. Value for money was slightly better. Move on to the next game then. And this is where the games get really interesting. We're going to go for this one by Ocean Nightmare Rally. And what can I tell you about that? Well, use of computer was 78%, graphics was 80%, playability was 82%. This is getting quite a high rating. Getting started 81%, addictive qualities 83%, that's an important rating as well. That'll let you know if you're really going to enjoy it or not. Value for money 76%, well I don't know about that because it was actually £7.95. That's a lot of money for a game back in that day anyway, certainly was. And of course overall rating was 80%. And of course, something I hate, the author was Giga Games. They won't tell you the real coder's name behind that, which I don't find fair. You should be able to know who's actually coded the game. And it was, the producer was Ocean Software. So let's have a look at the game, shall we? Great loading screen. Look like that bit about it, yeah. So the presentation is effectively a scrolling up, much like you used to get at the end of the films, obviously. We're just going to press anything. I like the way that flicks off as well. Yeah, I'm going to go for manual. Change controls. Well, you can define the keys, but on this occasion I'm going to go for a joystick because I have one to hand. Yeah, okay, and then one to return. One player, please. No, one player. No, to start. I pressed 1 for one player and it switched to 2, so that's where I went wrong there. So, enter your name. I've got a race number, haven't I? Oh. It's like Days of Thunder all over again. Come on, you've got Colin McRae here, ready to rock and roll. So the first section, yeah, I like this game actually, it's not too bad. The reason why it's got a high rating, it's quite easy to control, oops, and that's what happens. Keep between the red and the blue flags. Remember it's a rallying game, so you are basically rallying. It's not too bad to control, it's quite responsive. Avoid hitting anything in particular, like a tree. Oh. Okay, well you get the general idea of this game. It's quite a good game actually. I'm going to give it a rating anyways. So yeah, I'm going to say that's a 9 out of 10. I'm stuck, that's why I've stopped. But one for you to try and hopefully you might do better than me, which shouldn't be hard because let's be honest, I'm pretty dreadful at most of these games that I like to play. So, let's move on to the next game. Well, it was Nightmare Rally, of course. And we're going to go on for the last game, I think, of today. Before we move on to today's main feature is... Oh yeah, this one ain't bad. Bomb Scare by Firebird. Retail price, £1.99. The author was Jeffrey Bond. Remember J Bond from yesterday? I called him James Bond. Maybe. Okay. Use of computer, 74%. Graphics, 80%. Playability, 70%. Getting started was 67%, addictive quality 71%, value for money 82%, well that is fair at £1.99, overall rating was 74%, so you can choose between those controls. We're going to go for 2 because I've got it all plugged in ready, and we're going to start the game. Yeah, oh this is a good game to be honest. I thought it was a bit of a hidden gem if you ask me, because it's quite a big maze. However, it's a directional control thing, and you can only fire a certain amount of time, so you can kill them in your way. It's quite tricky to control. When you've got your eyes facing, it is with Jaws joystick because it's so sensitive, it's unreal. There we go. I like the little bit where you get cleaned up by a dustpan and brush. How clever is that? So yeah, it's very well done for an isometric game. It's quite quick the way it changes the screen, moves fast enough. There's objects you have to collect, obviously. Okay, so what do I think of the game? I've played it for a bit, got into it, I quite liked it, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely one for you to try. Oh, I do love my rotational chair. So, let's get on to today's main feature. Coming up next, Spectrum versus Commodore. Who's going to win today? Find out now. So the two games, or the one game, but two different computers that we're going to compare today is this one, Battleships. And there's your loading screen, and we'll start today with the Commodore version, and we'll try and vary it from each week. And if there's any games that you'd like to suggest that I should compare between the Spectrum version and the Commodore version, please remember to do that in the comments and I'll have a look into it for you. But I just sort of picked these games at random, so you could get one computer run away with it, or you could get another computer run away with it. It all depends. But we'll see, shall we? So let's have a look at this game coming up right now. And there's a quirk of the Commodore loading. Towards the end of the game, it gets rid of the loading screen and just puts those colour bars across, which is okay, acceptable, I suppose. Come on then, Commodore, we want to play this game. Nearly there. How many blocks we got? We're up to 96%, so a few more percentage and we're there. Going to change the set around, I think. May do that in future show. Just align the camera so we get a nice good view of it. And there's the game. So we're going to go for one player. I've got my joystick plugged in. First thing you do is you place them. Obviously you've got a bit of siege sound in this. But we'll just get straight on and play the game. It's random whether it lets you go first or second. I didn't play two-player, did I? So you pick your 20 some odd shots. .24 shots in total, and of course each time you lose a ship you lose 4 shots. Only problem is, apart from the planes bombing you, it looks like you're just firing them into water, doesn't it? And we've hit one, so we'll be able to sink that next time round. Because I'm just going to decimate the area. It's a bit grey. That's a bit slow on them firing, isn't it, really? So, player 2 will do the same, but we'll just quickly. Hit one straight away. How lucky is that? I'm going to miss my Christmas shopping at this rate. So let's go and sink a ship, hopefully. I'm just going to surround that entire area with bullets. Oh, you can click them on and off as well, look. And with the Commodore version, you can actually leave a bomb on where you've already bombed. Whoops. Don't want to leave any survivors. If I haven't sunk this, I'll be gutted. I've got the bigger one going down. Nice little explosion, isn't it, on the ship as it hits it. It's going to survive. Oh, it's gone. Yes. Okay, so enough of that one. Let's have a look at the Spectrum version, shall we? And for that we need to change computers. I'm going to use the Omni now for the last bit of the show. I love my Omni laptop. It does the business, doesn't it? Put a bit of sound on. That was right on cue. You'd think that was voice controlled. Because the Spectrum obviously doesn't have AY. There's your loading screen and your game. 6 controls. We'll go 7. No, we'll go keyboard, won't we? 9. It's our game. Okay, so straight away you ship, put them into place, use your rotation to rotate, and let's have a go. Get ready, player 1. So Just dot the screen with as many bombs as you can, 24 remember. And the difference you get here, of course, is you actually get to the ships. Unfortunately I haven't hit any. Come on then. Let's computers go. He can't hit diddly squat. Oh dear me. Told you, he can't hit anything. So the difference between the two at the moment is you can see the ships. Oh, I've hit one, haven't I? I didn't realise I hit one. We're going to sink a ship, folks. Which one did I hit? Must be the carrier. That's strange enough. So we should be sinking something here. Yeah, well, he's gone. He's a goner. And you actually watch the ships go down here as opposed to seeing them go down on the side. So you've got a bigger ship display and then you get the SOS. So, well, Commodore guys, I think you've been short-changed there because you don't actually see the ships on your horizon getting fired at. And your it sounds okay. So what's my conclusion? Commodore, what does Marcellus Wallace look like to you? Coming up next. Yeah, I had to give you the spectrum because it was much better that you could see the first of all, the graphics, there's nothing in it really, but it's good to see the ships on the horizon as you're actually hitting them rather than just a blank ocean and the bombs going into nothing. But also, the ships going down on the horizon as you hit them was better than the ships going down on the side. So, yeah, without doubt. So it's going to be 2 apiece on Commodore versus Spectrum. So, for me, Wayne Retro Robbins, I hope you enjoyed today's shorter show than normal. But obviously there will be more shows coming up and more Commodore versus Spectrum for your flavour. In the meantime, from me, Wayne Retro Robbins, you take care, have a good working week or weekend depending on when you watch this video, and it's bye for now.